Hi everyone, it's Denise back with Keto with Denise, and today we're going to talk about intermittent fasting for beginners. Helpful tips that I think will help you really succeed on your journey with keto and intermittent fasting. So first things first, we know that fasting is simply not eating. When you're asleep, you're not eating, therefore you're fasting. So to get started on this journey, this is how I would take you through this process of doing intermittent fasting. For the first 2 weeks of your keto journey, I would have you literally eat 3 meals a day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. No snacking in between those. So that's very important. No snacking in between your meals. And then your first meal you might eat after 7 a.m. But again, this is up to you based on your schedule, your lifestyle. Some people work night shifts, etc. So you want to incorporate your meals at the appropriate time. So I just use this 7 a.m. as an example, but make sure it fits your lifestyle. And your last meal may be after 7 p.m. and that's it. You'll cut it off, but make sure you cut off your times that's convenient for you. The most important thing is when you eat breakfast, when you eat lunch, and when you eat dinner, okay? So making sure you're getting those meals in. And another important factor is to make sure you're hitting your target macros, meaning your fats, your proteins, and your carbs. Make sure that you're getting enough food because your fats are going to carry you from breakfast to lunch, and the fat that you eat at lunch is going to carry you to dinner. And that dinner has to carry you those 12 hours to the next meal. That's why I said your average fasting in this scenario is about 12 hours. It could be 10 to 12 hours, but make sure you understand that each meal has to have sufficient fat to carry you to the next meal. That's really critical when you're doing intermittent fasting, okay? Now, after you've done that for 2 weeks and you're on 3 meals, you're eating keto-friendly foods, you're targeting fats, proteins, and carbs, I want you to start looking at shifting to 2 meals a day. That's right, 2 meals a day, and you'll do that for the next 4 to 6 weeks. So you'll have a month and a half of eating those 2 meals a day. And that's no snacking in between as well. And your first meal will be after, let's just say 12 p.m. The most important thing is noting, I'm using my example. My first meal is generally after 12 p.m. and my last meal is no later than 8 p.m. That's how I typically do it. And then I can decrease my fat because at this point, I want my body to start using the stored body fat, even more of that. So I may cut down my fat macros by 10%. So what that looks like is this. The number of hours fasting, if I'm fasting for 16 hours, I've got an 8-hour window. If I fast for 18 hours, I've got a 6-hour eating window that I'm eating my 2 meals within that time frame. And then if I'm fasting for 20 hours, I've got a 4-hour eating window. So when I'm fasting for 16 hours and 8, I'll eat after 12 o'clock, and then my next meal won't be until about 7-ish or so. Sometimes I cut off at 6, but I will not eat past the 8 o'clock window. So really, 12 o'clock is the first meal, 8 o'clock the next meal. I've got an 8-hour fasting window because I'm not eating in that time. And your body is also taking advantage of that when you're not taking in food and calories and all of that, okay? So the most important thing is help your body burn the stored body fat as well as the dietary fat. And when we start to eat 1 meal a day, that's exactly what happens. The body starts to burn more stored body fat. Hence, you start to see the transformation that's taken place. So once you've done that about 4 to 6 weeks, you're on 2 meals a day, I will switch you to 1 meal a day. And I want you to try that 1 meal per day for about 4 weeks that you would do that. No snacking. That 1 meal can be any time that you designate it to be, but you want to make sure that that's just that 1 meal. And you don't need as much dietary fat here either. Your body is going to go into the fat storage and it's going to use that fat for energy and start to burn it off, okay? So I say you can decrease it by 20% there too. So your fasting windows might look like this. 21 hours of fasting, a 3-hour eating window for that 1 meal. Now you can eat a big salad first. If you're going to eat anything, get your veggies in first. I've said that in other videos. Why? Because when you eat the fat and the protein, you're going to get full fast. So start on your veggies, and then within the hour, get your fat and your protein in. So you could fast 22 hours with a 2-hour window, or even 23 hours with a 1-hour window. I've done all of those, and it is more sustainable than perhaps you would realize, okay? So keep that in mind. 2 weeks at your 3 meals, 4 to 6 weeks at your 2 meals, and then for the next 4 weeks, try your 1 meal a day. And guess what? Once you've gotten your body truly acclimated over this time period, you're talking about, 12 weeks of time here, you can go back and forth between these. I can go back to doing 2 meals a day. I can even go back to doing 3 meals a day and then work my way back up. So there's no cookie cutter that says I have to forever fast 1 meal a day or forever fast 2 meals a day. I've switched these up many times and then started my journey with 2 meals to 1 meal and go back and forth often, okay? Hopefully that helps you. Thank you so much for watching. Hi, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And by the way, click the bell too, so that you'll be notified when there's new content like this. Thank you again for watching.